Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Tuesday, April the 6th City Council meeting. I now call this meeting to order. Would you please stand, council, at this time and face the flag and join me in the pledge? Those in the audience is welcome to join as well. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our invocation tonight will also be our scripture reading from Matthew chapter 6, verse number 9. After this manner, therefore, pray, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. All right, council, at this time we come to special presentations. I want to recognize a council person that this is going to be their last in-person meeting with us tonight. Councilman Jerry Mitchell has served on this council for 2 terms. He has a wealth of institutional knowledge that we're going to be losing, and this is a jewel that I hate to see go. But Councilman, I appreciate your service to this city, your dedication to this council, and I wish you well in whatever you decide to do in your next venture in life. Sir, you have certainly been a blessing to me on this council. And I've leaned on some of your wisdom and your knowledge of how this city works, and I'm going to miss that. Yes. Any other council persons that would like to wish Councilman
I have
Mitchell?
one comment, Chair. Actually, I probably have a few. Can I go?
Go
Do you
ahead.
care?
Go ahead.
Okay. Councilman Mitchell and several of us others, Mr. Chair, all came on this council at the same time, and there were 7 of us new at the time. And I think we all leaned on each other for a great many things. But most of all, I think the majority of us leaned on Jerry. And he's always been there for anything that we needed, even if it was a disagreement. And I very much appreciated that in every way, because it wasn't in opposition. His disagreements and agreements were always cordial. They were always kind. They were always straightforward. It's definitely going to be hard being up here without Jerry with us. He's been sitting next to me since I've been sitting on this dais. And he's definitely going to be missed. And I will just say that not only being thankful and blessed that he's been with us for 8 years, but also thankful that he let us talk him into running last time, or we'd only had him for 4. So with that, Councilman, I appreciate the friendship. I appreciate the mentorship, the leadership, and everything that you've provided sitting next to me up here over the last 8 years. You will definitely be missed.
Councilman Gilbert.
Oh, come on. Thank you, Chair. Councilman Mitchell, I've been knowing you for a long time. I mean, before you became councilman. And ever since I've been knowing you, you have always been for the underdog. You have always been for people that needs help. You always stood for them. I remember one meeting, you were so angry that you could have broke everybody's face in that room because we're going another direction. But you have always been for people that need help. And I appreciate that. I admire that about you. We all be gone, but I probably hope to stay in touch with you. And you have a lovely wife. You've been blessed. You have a blessed woman. But again, you have helped me out a lot of times before I became councilman for the historical football field that we still have. Wasn't for you, it wouldn't be there. And I appreciate that. So I know you do great wherever you're going to do.
Councilman Mitchell, any words you'd like to depart us with?
Well, just very briefly, I'm so blessed to have met every one of you up here. And more blessed even to have been able to serve all the people of Chattanooga. It's just a wonderful community, born and raised here. Tried to leave back in the 80s. I'm glad I stayed. But the privilege it has been making the friendships that I've made up here and trying to earn the trust of everyone up here has been a great experience for me. And I'm sure that you all will do well without me, but if you're not, I'll probably try to let you know about it. So anyway.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
As expected.
Anyway, with that, I'll say peace. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your dedication and service to this city. All right, with that, we will proceed to our proclamation of Second Chance Month, and that was sponsored by Councilwoman Demetrius Coonrod, who was unable to be with us this afternoon. She is in Nashville, as far as what I understand, testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee on justice reform. And I think this is an appropriate time for her to be doing that and this proclamation as Second Chance Month. Whereas every person is endowed with human dignity and value, redemption and second chances are American values. Whereas an estimated 70 million Americans have a criminal record, individuals returning from prison and those who have paid their debt after committing a crime face significant barriers, also known as collateral consequences. Whereas individuals with a criminal history often struggle to find housing, employment, or education, regain voting rights, volunteer in their community, and pay for significant debt that arises as a result of their conviction and incarceration. The stigma and legal barriers associated with a criminal record result in lost human capital and lost economic output for the city of Chattanooga. Whereas youth face more than 1,000 collateral consequences affecting their high school and higher education, these barriers can contribute to recidivism, which increases victimization and decreases public safety. Whereas April 21st, 2012 is the anniversary of the death of Charles Chuck Colson, who used his second chance following his incarceration for a Watergate-related crime to found Prison Fellowship, the nation's largest outreach to prisoners and their families. Whereas a robust coalition of businesses, congregations, and other organizations across the country has celebrated Second Chance Month since April 2017 through prayer walks, Second Chance Sunday services, briefings, social media campaigns, advocacy, press, Second Chance 5Ks, and other events and activities. Whereas the designation of April as Second Chance Month would contribute to increased public awareness about the need for closure for those who have paid their debt and opportunities for individuals, employers, congregations, and communities to extend second chances. Whereas Senate Resolution 129, the 115th Congress designates April 2017 and every year after as Second Chance Month to honor the work of communities, governmental entities, nonprofit organizations, congregations, employers, and individuals to remove unnecessary legal and societal barriers that it calls on the people of the United States to observe Second Chance Month through actions and programs that promote awareness of collateral consequences and provide closure for individuals who have paid their debts. Now, I therefore, Demetrius Coonrod, Councilwoman, do hereby proclaim April 2021 and ongoing as Second Chance Month in the city of Chattanooga. All right, council, if you would, could I get a motion on the minutes? All right, we have a motion on the minutes with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell. Yes. Councilman Ledford. Councilman Gilbert. Councilman Burr.
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith. Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
so moved. Motion carries. Now moving to ordinances on final reading. Madam Clerk, under planning, would you please read 5A, please?
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone properties located in the 7,000 block of Shaliford Road and 2301 Rivendell Lane for R1 residential zone and RTZ residential townhouse zero lot line zone to RTZ residential townhouse zero lot line zone for the entire site, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Ledford,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to make a motion to move this back to first reading with an alternate version number 4. The reason is I discovered some language that referenced in the original application this past week, which I had the city attorney clean up, removing those parcels that are no longer part of the application. I have notified the applicant, I have notified opposition in this case of this new alternate number 4. The conditions, I might note, have not changed at all. These are the conditions that the applicant and the homeowners associations have agreed upon. This is just cleaning up some clerical language that referenced an old parcel. Mr. Attorney, we have all of our ducks in a row.
Yes, sir. And the caption of this ordinance, based upon alternate version number 4, now states an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone properties located in the 7,000 block of Shaliford Road and 2301 Rivendell Lane for R1 residential zone and RTZ residential townhouse zero lot line zone to RTZ residential townhouse zone for a portion of the site and O1 office zone for a portion of the site as shown on the attached map.
Very good. And that map is this map.
Yes, sir.
And it is attached.
Yes,
That
sir.
I move for approval on alternate version number 4.
okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve alternate version number 4, which will take it back to first reading with a proper second. Any questions or comments before we vote? And while we are still on Zoom, I'm going to ask that the clerk, we do a roll call vote for each vote. Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert, Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
so moved. Mr. IT, can you check to see why Councilman Gilbert's mic is not working?
Thank you.
Got it? Good. Thank you, sir. Now we move on to 5B, please.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 31 by adding a new section 31.324.3 vegetative planting requirements when steep slopes are disturbed. A new section 31.324.4 steep slopes vegetation policy and planting requirements, and a new section 31.324.5 incentives for preservation of existing trees.
Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Move to approve alternate version 4.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for alternate version 4 with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
motion carries 8-0. Now, Madam Clerk, 5C, please.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 31, Article 8, Division 8, Section 31.365, hearing procedure judicial review to provide the authority for the Stormwater Regulations Board to prohibit the issuance of additional land disturbance permits after notice and hearing by the Stormwater Regulations Board when civil penalties are not paid to the city of Chattanooga.
Councilman Gilbert, is that an active hand, sir?
Yeah, but I thought Mr. Mitchell was gonna go first.
Are you yielding?
Yes, sir.
Move to approve.
Second?
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve item 5C with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford, Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
so moved. Now we move into ordinances on first reading under Public Works and Transportation. I believe we'll take these one at a time because of the nature. Madam Clerk, 6A, please.
An ordinance closing and abandoning a portion of the alley in the 1300 block of Spears Avenue as detailed on the attached map.
That is in my district and it is recommended for denial. We heard earlier from Mr. Bailey. There was some opposition from some residents. Councilman Mitchell.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to deny with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell, Councilman Ledford, Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
motion to deny is approved. Now we move to 6B, please.
An ordinance closing and abandoning an unopened alley in the 200 block of West 25th Street as detailed on the attached map.
Mr. Chair, it's in my district and we had some conversation with the developer and he wants to have more time to discuss the matter with some citizens in the neighborhood. So I move to defer this item for 30 days until May 4th.
Okay, we have, what was the date on that, sir?
May 4th, Mr. Chair.
May 4th. Have a motion on the floor to defer until May 4th with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? If not, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford, Councilman Mitchell, Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
motion to defer carries 8-0. Now, Madam Clerk, 6C, please.
An ordinance closing and abandoning multiple rights of way, the 4700 through 4800 block of an unnamed alley, 200 block of Chestnut Street, and 4700 through 4800 blocks of Highland Avenue as detailed on the attached map, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Oglesby?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve item 6C with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford, Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
so moved. Moving now to 6D, please.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 2, Section 2554, competitive sealed proposals.
Councilman Ledford, followed by Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for the record, this ordinance allows us to finally come into alignment in the use of competitive bids. And I think it's very important. This is a recommendation that was handed down or reviewed by MTAS along with the city attorney. And I think it's a very good move for us in creating transparency and a process in alignment with TCA. With that, I move to approve.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs, Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford, Councilman Mitchell, Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes.
8 yeses.
Motion to approve carries 8-0. Now we move into resolutions. Madam Clerk, if there are no objections from the council, I'd like to take economic, community development, human resources, and information technology as a package. A, B, C, D, and E, please.
Item A, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic and Community Development to renew the independent contractor services standard form agreement with CBRE Inc. for real estate services for 1 year with the option to renew for one additional 1-year term. Item B, a resolution authorizing the Chief Human Resources Officer to renew an agreement with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee to provide health plan administration services to active and retired employees at the approximate cost of $1,270,000 per year for the final renewal option beginning July 1, 2021. Item C, a resolution authorizing the Chief Human Resources Officer to amend blanket purchase order number 545788 so as to extend contract with Outsourced Staffing LLC for temporary employment services for 8 months from October 1, 2020 through May 31, 2021. Item D, a resolution authorizing the Chief Human Resources Officer to enter into an agreement with Russ Blakely and Associates LLC for benefit advisory and open enrollment services and to serve as the agent of record for all benefit options at no cost for a 3-year term with 2 1-year renewal options beginning July 1, 2021. And item E, a resolution authorizing a spend limit increase from the existing blanket contract with AST for OMCS hosting and managed services, purchase order number 537480 to cover services for the remainder of current fiscal year, June 30, 2021, for contract amount of $3,344,509.62 for an increase of $85,000 for a total contract amount of $3,429,509.62.
All right, Councilman Gilbert, followed by Councilwoman Burrs.
Move to approve.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve items 7A, B, C, D, and E with a proper second. Any questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford, Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs, Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes.
8 yeses.
Motion carries 8-0. Now, Madam Clerk, moving into Public Works and Transportation, I'd like to bundle F, G, and H if there's no objection from the council.
Item F, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to award contract number W190144201 Lupton Drive Chronic Overflow Elimination Project to Tally Construction, Inc. of Rossville, Georgia, for a contract amount of $1,482,559.80 with a contingency amount of $150,000 for an amount not to exceed $1,632,559.80. Item G, a resolution authorizing the recommendation of the administrator for the Department of Public Works for the street name change of the unopened 700 block of Chestnut Lane to the 700 block of Middleton Lane in the North Shore Heights subdivision. Item H, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to execute all necessary documents under the U.S. Department of Agriculture Natural Resource Conservation Service, NRCS, Emergency Watershed Protection Program relative to storm drainage damage from the February 6, 2019 storms at or near Arbor Creek Way, authorizing an increase of the city's 25% share from an amount of $300,000 to $352,000.
Councilman Mitchell.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve items 7F, G, and H with a proper second. Any questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs, Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford, Councilman Mitchell, Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes.
8 yeses.
So moved. All right, council, if you would pull out your purchases for this afternoon. Ms. Sullivan, it's my understanding that Ms. Haley is going to present. Madam Clerk, would you bring in Miss Vicky Haley. Is that, okay, Mr. Vice Chair.
All right, good evening.
Good evening, Miss Haley.
We have 4 purchases for your consideration. The first is Public Works. It's compactor for Birchwood landfill. It's to Stowers Cat of Chattanooga in the amount of $930,012.08. Next is the Police Department investigation vehicle to MB of Murfreesboro Nissan LLC, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, $28,950. The next is the Waste Resources Division of Public Works, Air Vacuum Relief Valve Services awarded to Keefe Plumbing and Heating Company, Inc. of Chattanooga in the amount of $200,000. And lastly, Chattanooga Department of Transportation, Traffic Cabinet Replacement awarded to Temple, Inc. of Decatur, Alabama in the amount of $78,608. That concludes the purchases.
Miss Haley, I have 2 purchases on a page 2. Have I got a different list than everyone else?
Oh my goodness.
Council, does anybody else have 2 listed?
2 more, huh?
It says contract renewal, is dark blue line.
No, there's another list of emergency purchases.
Okay, that's separate. We have 4 emergency purchases.
Okay, well, let's not get into emergency purchases yet.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, very well. We will vote on these 1, 2, 3, 4 items.
4
What's the
items.
council?
Move for approval. Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve tonight's purchases with proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell.
Yes.
Councilman Ledford. Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Byrd. Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
so moved. Miss Haley, we do have some emergency purchases that you need to report.
Yes, sir, we do. We have 4 emergency purchases under the mayor's emergency declaration. The first is for COVID testing to Clinica Medicos, purchase order 560836 for $60,000. The second, COVID testing to Chattanooga Cares, Inc., purchase order number 560841 for $30,000. The third one, COVID testing and vaccine distribution to LifeSpring Community Health, purchase order number 560842 in the amount of $30,264. And the fourth one is hotels and food for emergency relocation of Patton Tower residences. This emergency purchase request is for an amount not to exceed $202,000. It's utilizing the current Red Cross vendors to ensure continuity of services and minimal disruption for the displaced residents. There are multiple vendors for the housing. The list is provided on your report, and the food provider is Cracker Barrel.
All right, any questions about our emergency purchases this afternoon? All right, I'm seeing no hands. Thank you very much, Miss Haley.
Thank you.
Vice Chair, you can excuse our guest. We move now to committee reports. Councilwoman Byrd. Councilman Byrd.
Thank you, Chair. We will have a public safety committee meeting April the 13th concerning residency requirements for our sworn emergency personnel, and we will get our quarterly report from our police advisory and review committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Gilbert. Vice Chair Smith.
No report, Mr. Chair.
Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Planning and zoning did meet today where we covered all items on our.
Councilman Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Public Works and Transportation met today. Fortunately, I can't speak for the future.
Well, you've done a brilliant job in the past. Let me just say that. Councilman Oglesby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We will have an Economic and Community Development Committee meeting next Tuesday to discuss this year's CDBG and ESG funding recommendations.
Thank you, sir. Right now, we come to the time where we recognize persons wishing to address the council. Mr. Attorney, would you just go ahead and read the rules in case there's anybody in the audience with us this afternoon that would like to address the council? And we'll see if anyone has registered to speak as well.
Yes, sir. This is the end of the first council meeting in person for a while here, in almost a year or more than a year. And at the end of every council meeting in the interim here, people have had an opportunity to speak on Zoom. At the conclusion of the council meeting here, if they wish to address the council, we have the opportunity in person this evening if someone wishes to. Here's your rules again. Each person wishing to address the council, if you're here, can only be recognized at the microphone up front that is provided for that purpose. You have to be recognized and you have to have registered if you're going to be doing it on Zoom. Speaker should provide your name, address, or council district of residence before addressing the council. You can't have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can only address the council upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority, and not upon matters that are not under their authority or regulated by other governmental bodies or agencies. Don't use vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack others. Just address the council as a whole and make your comments directed towards, not directed towards individual council members. Anyone wishing to speak at this time, please come forward.
All right, if you would, if you are here in the audience with us this afternoon, just come one at a time. Please leave your mask on while you speak at the microphone, and then we'll go to our Zoom attendees. You will have 3 minutes. Would you put 3 minutes on the clock, Mr. IT? There we go. Go ahead, sir.
Jim Johnson, 1638 Berkeley Circle in District 2. And I'm not sure if this is allowed, just briefly to address this to Councilman Mitchell.
You're not supposed to address council members individually. That's
Okay,
part of
so
the
I'd like to
rules.
tell the rest of the council how much District 2 appreciates the work that Councilman
Okay.
Mitchell has done. And if you could just tell him, because I can't see him behind the screen there, that it's been a pleasure. I can't speak for everyone in District 2, but most of the people I know are very appreciative of how available you've been and how supportive you've been. And as someone who's been to a lot of the meetings in the other room, with no disrespect to the rest of the council, Councilman Mitchell was often a voice of reason, and where the discussions would be going on, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Councilman Mitchell, whose wry smile would increase as the conversation went on, would come up with sometimes a brief comment that would just seem to resolve everything. So please say thank you on my path to Councilman Mitchell. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very well done.
Yes.
Anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council at this time? If not, we'll turn to our Zoom participants. If you haven't registered to speak tonight and you would like to do so at this time, would you please raise or click onto your raise hand button on your computer to let us know that you'd like to address the council? Anyone in attendance this afternoon that has registered to speak, would you please raise your hand now at this time? Okay, council, I am not seeing any hands being raised at this time. What is the pleasure of the council?
Move to adjourn.
We are adjourned.
Wow, first time.
Yeah. Good job, Chip.